Hi folks and welcome to your Gersnet immediate post-match reaction pod, coming to you in association with the Forest, with the Precision, with the Engineering. The Forest Precision Engineering. My name's Alec Anderson and I'm speaking to you from outside the National Stadium, Hampden Park, Glasgow, and I'm absolutely disgusted because yet again Rangers have failed to gain any ground on Celtic in the league title race. Celtic get beat at Kilmarnock last Sunday, then they get beat again yesterday at Parkhead. How many points have we gained in them in the meantime? Exactly. Zilch. Zero. I'm absolutely sick of this board. I'm sick of these players. I'm particularly sick of that captain. That loser, James Tavernier, that all the happy clappers think's a great guy. They're part of the problem as far as I'm concerned. So why, when I'm so raging, is my left leg gone? Why can I hear Led Zeppelin in my head? Why am I getting the old John Bonham drums going like that, and I can feel the John Paul Jones, the rhythm section going? It's been a long time, been a long time, been a long, lonely. It's been a long time, that's what it is, the old rock and roll. It's been a long time since we won the League Cup, 13 fucking years to be exact. Walter Smith. Did you see Philip Clement the other night when he was celebrating? I think it was the second goal. Was it Dessers' goal over in Seville, and he span round towards his own bench with the kind of raging but also celebrating thing. Why are they not doing that more often? But his wee 3/4 length coat just kind of spun. The way it spins like a wee kilt, like a wee skirt. It reminded me of Walter when he was in the track, because Graham Souness was in the stand before that 1986-1987 League Cup final. Walter Smith never won the League Cup on its own. He always it was always a wee chaser. He always had it as a half pint to go with the half that was going to get poured later on. So I think that in Philip Clement you've got a manager who might do that again, but my focus today is on the last kick of the ball today. The last kick of the ball today was a total sclaff. Right in front of me, the north stand, up towards the Celtic end of the north stand, right out of touch, the full-back, the right-back, the number 2 for the team in blue, the guy with the red, white and blue armband on his long-sleeve blue jersey, just sclaffed it. It was an absolute joke of a touch, and the final whistle went, and it was an absolute fucking privilege to see it that close up. James Tavernier, he arrived here summer of 2015 under Mark Warburton. We had to win the championship. Remember that? Remember, stuff's going to take time. It's going to take time when you've been in that position. And James Tavernier, his first involvement in competitive football for Rangers was scoring the very first goal against Hibs at Easter Road, an absolutely stunning free kick into the top bin at the famous 5 end, a home end at Easter Road, an absolute belter of a free kick, an absolute belter of a 6-2 win. It was all about winning the championship that season. It was all about getting promoted, and he scored the goal against Dumbarton. It was a Tuesday night at Ibrox. It was a Monday night, I can't remember, but he scored the only goal of the game where we officially clinched the championship to win that, to get us officially clinched promotion. I can't remember, but it was something amazing anyway, and James Tavernier was right at the heart of it. We end up getting to a European final. We're winning the championship, and I'm talking about the same guy getting us to a European final. Oh, he didn't get us to a European final. If he's getting the blame for everything that goes wrong, I think when he scores in every single game at Ibrox, the first goal at Ibrox in the post-Christmas run to Seville, he can get the credit for that, and he did it. It was superhuman stuff. He scored 2 at home to Dortmund after scoring the opener in the Westfalen in the game that kind of set us on light for that. That absolutely launched us on the way to an absolute miracle of an achievement, getting to that European final. He scored the first goal at Ibrox in every single post-Christmas match in that run, and he stepped up and he took the penalty, and he scored the penalty in the penalty shootout in Seville. It's all about, doesn't matter if he wins stuff, doesn't matter, but when it's all right to score goals when the whole team's playing well, but what when things are going against us? See when we get absolutely gubbed. Well done, James. That's James Bisgrove going past there. Took a hell of a slagging for me, so it's only fair that I say well done to the guy. I've just sucked right up the arse my guy. I've slagged absolutely rotten all season. Must be in a good mood. I did say he was vital. To the running of the club. I just said his partner's a bit blue sky thinking, a bit jargonish, a bit businessman for my particular personal liking. But we're talking about another guy who's done so much more, and that is James Tavernier. When he got to the final, he scored all the goals. The bad stuff, that's what I was talking about, the bad stuff. We get beat 3-2 at Parkhead last season. Scores a free kick into the Celtic end after the underside of the bar, like the likes of which you'll not see very often watching top flight football. He scores a header at the back post in the second half. It's not just the penalties, but it was just the penalties. The penalties would be enough. See that goal he scored this season at Ross County when we're still under Michael Beale? Just strolls into their half and pings it from basically the halfway line into the top bin. He does stuff like that so often that it gets totally underappreciated, and then here he is today. And it's just, I should have put a tenner on it. I'm walking down Cathcart Road today, walking down for the underground, at Bridge Street. Absolutely horrible day, and all the fears, all the past League Cup final, just League Cup horrors we've been through, because you're going to have to go through stuff like that to get back from a financial disaster, from playing in the lowest league in Scotland, in Scottish League football, to get back for that, to winning all the trophies at least once since then. You're going to have to go through stuff. And I was walking up that road today, and there was a boy in front of me, who was maybe slightly older than me, talking to his mate about how he's still raging at Ian Redford for costing them money in the 1981 Scottish Cup final, the first game, because they had Rangers down to win 1-0 in Redford for the goal. I didn't know you got the correct goal scorer, correct score prediction doubles in the days, but that's what he was on, and he was absolutely raging at Ian Redford for missing that penalty, even though we won the final. In the replay, and I was walking down here the day just dreading that we were going to actually chuck it again, and I actually now wish I'd put a bet on. How obvious was it that we were going to win this? And the man, 3 handles in that trophy, and 3 different trophies that James Tavernier has lifted, the 3 major trophies that James Tavernier has lifted as captain of Rangers. It gets that foundation built. You want a big posh house. You're just all you're thinking about is how great that house is going to look, how comfortable it's going to be, and how swanky you're going to feel. You invite all your pals round a bit, but it doesn't work if you don't get the toilet built, does it? It doesn't work if you don't get the foundations in. You get the gutters in there, you get the plumbing done, you get the sewage sorted. And I think that's what it is for a lot of Rangers supporters. They don't want to talk about that. They don't want to be in that situation where we have to acknowledge what happened in 2012. We have to acknowledge that we're going to have to get back there somehow. But we've been thrown in European finals and beaten Real Betis and Seville in between times. It's been a bloody honour. It's been great. And it's been hard as well. I was thinking about losing to Aberdeen, that team we're playing today. We're losing to them in the semi-final 2018-19 League Cup. Losing to Celtic in the 2019-20 League Cup final again this day in December, this weekend, right before Christmas. Absolutely pitch black heading towards the darkest day of the year, and that's what it felt like that day when we pounded them, but they scored first and we missed a penalty. And then we played Celtic back in February in this League Cup final, this year's, but last season's League Cup final, and we score a goal that day. Alfredo Morelos, who missed the penalty the last time we played against him in the final, he scores against them that day, but we're 2-1 down. We're 2-0 down by that point. It's too late, but it's getting better. And today we scored the first goal. It wasn't a great game, but we scored the first goal. We scored the goal that counted, and we kept a clean sheet in the League Cup final. And step by step, piece by piece, increment by increment, we are coming back. James Tavernier, we get absolutely battered in Europe this season by PSV Eindhoven. We get beat 5-1 in Eindhoven. Who scores the one? James Tavernier. We have a mediocre draw in Servette. Who scores the one? And the one each draw over there, James Tavernier. I don't understand how people can't see what he's given this club. And it's not, he's like everybody else. He can only work with what he's got to work with. He can only work with what's around him. And when that changes for the positive in any way, when we get a little boost, he's up there taking advantage of it. When we're struggling, he's in there scoring the goals. At least he's making a fist of it. That's a legend we were watching today. He's the Fergus McCann of Rangers. It's going to be 10, 20 years down the line before people dare to appreciate James Tavernier. See, when we lifted that trophy today, that trophy, I've waited so bloody long to see us lift him. We've all waited so long. Sorry, it's not about me. I hate folk going on like that, but I can't help it. It's a bit over emotional today, but that wee bird bath, it's making absolutely brilliant, like a silver plated bird bath you could have out in your wee square garden in Bearsden. You get the high hedges and all the wee blue tits are wallowing in the tears of the past 10 years that are floating about in the top of that big bowl at the top of that League Cup that it's like a big bath. There's no lid can go in the top of that. It's just fucking magic. Sorry, I'm totally ranting and raving, but see, when we lifted it, that podium that they erected, I kept forgetting that's what they do for the League Cup, but Tav lifting the Scottish Cup after coming back from Seville 3 days earlier, a massive game, done it again today with the League Cup, come back from Seville 3 days earlier. And I think sometimes if you just get a bit of perspective, if you get away from it, I think that's the best way to come in and win these trophies for Rangers to actually win finals like today, is if we've got our eyes on bigger things. We've got a belief in what we actually are as a club, what we should be. It stops us worrying about the minutiae, and we come in the day and we just kept going because we knew after what we did on Thursday night, there's absolutely no way we could lose this game today. But when you put that podium up there, I'm up in the basically what would normally be Aberdeen supporters if they had any kind of support, and the real right over towards the east end or the Celtic end of the North Stand. Terrible allocation. Aberdeen supporters, just what a noise they made about that. And anyway, never mind. We'll not get into that stuff. But when the podium got lifted. I'm like, this is what it was like when we lifted the title at Ibrox. What year was it? 2011, I think we were lifting it. It was, I can't remember. No, 2011 was the Rugby Park. It was the year before that we actually lifted the trophy in the last day of the season at Ibrox, and they put this podium up, and it's like the back's been taken out of television. You know, it's like kind of a backwards proscenium arch, but there's a hole in the back of it, so you can see the players' backsides and all that if you're in the north stand. They're all facing the main stand, the other side of the pitch. And I'm thinking, I've waited so long to see us lifting this trophy. Am I actually going to miss it? You know, I didn't realise it was on the big screens. I was so focused on watching Tav doing it. I'd been so building myself up to hopefully seeing Tav lifting all three of the major domestic trophies. Obviously, to watch him doing it on the telly when it was 55 because of the COVID season. But I've saw him lifting the Scottish Cup in the flesh. Now I want to see him lifting the League Cup in the flesh, and he lifts it up, and it just goes up. I'm thinking it's going to be stuck behind that cardboard, the big kind of cardboard screen thing. I'm not going to get to see it, but then it just glinted above the top of that, whatever that podium type thing is. It's like a big television with the back out of it. And that's that Grand Don't Come For Free, the Streets album, that's where it ends up. The money's down the back there. There's also a sociologist called Irving Goffman who wrote a book about presentation of self in everyday life, and you think my metaphors are bad. The whole way through that book, he does a whole metaphor about how, you know, it's like being in the theatre. People, you know, in public, you know, and you can see I very much don't buy into that now, being a complete arse myself quite happily in public. But people in public present themselves a certain way, but they hate it. You know, if you get to see them behind the scenes, if you get to see them backstage, what they're really like, you know, it's no pretty at all. You know, we're all behind this, you know, you're stuck in your bed first thing in the morning having a fag or whatever like that, you know. But then you want to get your makeup on, you know, I do anyway, and get yourself out and looking your best. And I think that was the problem with James Tavernier and with the attitude towards him, and this narrative that built up. I don't mind if anybody's got a problem with Tav. You know, you're a Rangers supporter, you pay your money, you can question everybody, but it was the hatred, it was the actual hatred I thought never rang true, and I think it's because we don't present ourselves as being happy. As a support, Rangers don't present ourselves in everyday life as being happy with, you know, just one trophy or two trophies in 11 years, as we kept talking about, which was always totally bogus when you throw in the lower league trophies that I'm proud to win. The other lower league clubs that welcomed us into that when the top flight Bampots threw us in there in 2012, it'd be an absolute insult to them if we weren't proud of winning those lower division league titles, and the one that Tav wasn't a captain for. We finally won the Petrofac Training Cup, but he wasn't a captain, but he scored one of the best goals you'll ever see in the final of that Petrofac Training Cup against Peterhead, one of the finest volleys you'll ever see. The guy's just there making sure it happens. What was the point I was trying to make? I think it was the Irving Goffman thing. I think we're embarrassed to talk about, you know, being happy winning a Scottish Cup, being happy winning a league title, you know, even though we know we've got to get those foundations built. And I think that speaks to why people were so OTT in their criticism of James Tavernier, why they castigated him so harshly, because he's the captain and he's not lifted enough trophies and blah. But I think they're also being gaslit by a lot of Celtic fans as well. I think today it was quite appropriate that it was the backstage, as Irving Goffman would have it. We were all behind there just knowing exactly how brilliant James Tavernier was, and they came out there and they ran up to us with that trophy, and it's just fucking magic, folks. I'm sorry, I'm completely rambling. The game itself, you'll have seen it. It wasn't pretty. I thought it was a bit like I was hoping it was going to be the Hearts semi-final all over again, when it was, you know, 0-0 at half-time. We're not doing as much as you'd want us to do in terms of attacking, but we're going at it, and Aberdeen were reduced to a couple of corners. They'd done absolutely nothing. Maybe Scott Wright could have come on earlier. Maybe he wasn't fit enough to do so. Ross McCausland was struggling. As soon as we scored the goal, though, and I just saw Tav hitting it, and then it went. And even then, I couldn't celebrate because from where I'm sitting, the ball had got kind of kept in by somebody. Seema, I would imagine. I don't know. Was he? You know, I was thinking it was going to be a VAR check. Maybe the ball's going out of play or something like that. I was just scared to believe almost. But and it went. No VAR check. Ref points to the centre circle, and it was absolute pandemonium in my head. It was absolutely phenomenal. And then Aberdeen came at us. I thought this is going to be great. Aberdeen are going to have to come at us now. We will open them up. Oh my God! It's absolutely. I think they should I think the supporters should have questions to ask. The way they came at us after we scored. Why can't you do that for 90 minutes, guys? But fuck them, basically. They get everything they deserve, and it's hee-haw. So they're throwing flares at the stewards and stuff like that at the end. Absolutely raging. It was fantastic, you know. But not fantastic for the stewards. Fantastic to watch them being so unhappy. But sorry, folks, I've got to get away. I've got to go meet my mate for a pint. All I can think about is Did you see a bit Kamar Roof? Kamar Roof gets in and gets in front of the fella to make create a corner out of nothing for Rangers right in the 88th minute or something like that. Game management. Kamar Roof. Game management is spelt Kemarrofe. Thinking about Jimmy Bell today, and there was a bit where what's his name, Seema had to run back, outpacing the Aberdeen fella who seemed to be the substitute. He seemed to be taking steady cleaners down that wing. Where did he get that pace from, Seema? Absolutely phenomenal. The energy that guy puts into the game. And Dujon Sterling, the fella I was really worried about, especially with a scumbag like Shinnie getting in about him. Scumbag's a bit heavy, that's a bit unsporting, Alex, sorry, but I must admit, I've seen some amazing things at Hampden. I've seen Zinedine Zidane scoring that goal in the Champions League final. I've seen Rangers draw 0-0 away Forfar. I've seen a full-scale riot at Hampden. But I have never been so shocked as when I saw Graham Shinnie finally getting a booking the day after referee. Game management, Christ almighty, he could teach us all a thing or two. I don't know how that guy managed to stay on the park for so long, but Dujon Sterling handled him brilliantly, and he was phenomenal and thoroughly deserving of his man of the match. But man of the century for me, man of the decade is James Tavernier, the Fergus McCann of Rangers. He won't get appreciated, as I say, until a few years down the line. He's taken so much hassle, so much grief from a lot of supporters, and he's always faced up to it, and he's just kept going, just maintaining that pace, maintaining that rhythm of how Rangers play in the modern era. For me, I'm always doing the music stuff, I know, sorry, but there's a go onto YouTube, right? There's a song, it's called Solidaire. It's by a guy called John Martin, who's kind of half Scottish, half English, absolute scumbag of a man, absolute horror of a person, thoroughly hated, but thoroughly lovely and thoroughly funny as well. And you see it all if you go into YouTube. Solidaire, 1978, John Martin, Martin with a Y, and it's on a legendary German rock music programme, Rock Palast. And John, he's doing this live performance, 1978. And his string breaks, his string snaps, and he's just trying to retune his guitar because everybody keeps requesting, the audience are shouting out, Solidaire, give us Solidaire. And it's a song he wrote for Nick Drake, his pal Nick Drake, who'd had a nervous breakdown and eventually killed himself. And John Martin killed himself as well, basically just drank himself to death, getting limbs amputated and all that because he drank so much, but just kept going with the bevy. Stole his wife's recording contract and everything. It was an absolute horror of a man, and it's all there in that performance. It's just 8 minutes long. Maybe it's a song you won't like, but if you do like it, you watch this performance, and half of that video is him retuning his guitar. And while he's doing it, he's losing his temper. He's trying to square go somebody in the audience. He's having a laugh with him. He's got everybody in fits of laughter as well. He's sinking a few cans, and then this eventually gets back into the song Solidaire. Yeah. I love you. I will follow you anywhere. I will follow you anywhere, even through Solidaire. And I think that's how we feel as a support, that we've been living on Solidaire. We've been living on fresh air in terms of trophies, but it's no longer 2 trophies in 11 seasons. It's now 3 trophies in 3 years. And that's just things like that, wee differences like that. Now all we do is we pivot. Aberdeen and Celtic can also pivot. Now we pivot on this one League Cup that we've won. That means we've won every major trophy since 2012. We've been in a European final since 2012. We've been in the Champions League since 2012. We're back, we definitely are back in every single way we can want to be, except winning several trophies in a season, more than one trophy in a season. That's the only totally Rangers thing pre-2012 that we haven't done post-2012. And we're going from Solidaire to silverware, and it's all down to James Tavernier, but that's not the joke. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not how I'm going to ruin this John Martin song for you. It's the fact that his string breaks. And musicians, I don't know much about music, but musicians have just commented on how the absolute genius of how he manages to retune his guitar. Just put a new string in it and just retune it, and that's him, he's away. He gets the song going again. And it's something that was deliberately done. A Beatles song, is it I Feel Fine? The bit of feedback at the beginning of that was a wee thing they discovered in rehearsal by accident, and they put it in on purpose. It's a bit of reverb. Things seem to have gone wrong. Ding, 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 ding. It goes into that Beatles song, I Feel Fine. It's a cracking wee pop song, and it makes it all the better because you think things are going wrong, and then wow, it's brilliant. And this is totally undeliberate. It's an actual disaster on stage. His string snaps. But see, when he gets it sorted, and he's shown how horrible and lovely a man he can be in the space of him getting it retuned. You know what I mean? Do you know what I'm trying to say there? We've shown how lovely and horrible we can be in the space of us trying to get back to normal. When it starts going again, you realise he's retuned that string and you start hearing the song. It's like, I recognise that now, and it sounds more beautiful than ever. It's got a resonance that wasn't there before. It's a beautiful song, and yet he manages to add something else to it because it seemed to have all gone wrong and everything was dark and everything was nasty. And then out of all that, he pulls out the beauty of a tune we recognised, everybody recognises. And you guys will all recognise Rangers winning the League Cup as an afterthought. We've won all the major trophies now since 2012. We're back, troops, and all we've got to do now is pivot on this League Cup this season and see if we can win a couple this season. And if it's no this season, you know it's going to be the following season. We've got the OGs of Gersnet are doing your oh God, sorry, I've completely gone totally over emotional. Are doing your main flagship show tonight, 9:30. Please check out. It's going to be John McCallum and Stuart Weir. And they've got, is it Granty or Gary? I think it might be Gary. It's another G anyway, so it's OGs, another G, and you can watch them reviewing the fact that Rangers have just retuned their G string, perhaps. The League Cup's in the bag, folks. I'm going to get bevied, and going by this pattern, I really need to get bevied. But please, just watch that game again on a loop, have a few cans, have a few drinks, and enjoy yourself. Rangers, I've turned 27 to 28. We are your Scottish League Cup champions of 2023-2024.